Oh, hi. How you doing?
Hi. I can't see you, but I don't know how this works, but
Um,
how are you doing?
yeah, I'm
Oh,
kind of
there
new
you
to this
go.
too.
You too, me
Yeah.
too.
Hey.
It's first time. How you doing? How you doing?
Good.
So you're from Evanston, huh?
Can you say that
You
again?
where you from Evanston?
No, no, no. I live in Maryland.
Maryland. Okay, okay.
Yeah, all the way
Okay.
on the East Coast, DMV
East
area.
Coast.
Mhm.
Oh, so you're over there where the Sunshine State is over there, all that sun and stuff like that. What's the weather like over there?
Right now it's pretty shitty. That's why I'm wearing a jacket. I'm sorry. It's pretty bad. Jacket.
Over here too, man. It's supposed to be summertime and it feels like almost like fall. It feels like October.
Well, science is pretty much saying it's global warming. Like,
Yeah, I
there's
know.
nothing to do. I mean, that's pretty much the meta nowadays. Have you noticed that people are just suddenly realizing that some things are just too late? You know,
Yeah.
it's just very depressing time. But sometimes the
Yeah.
truth hurts.
Oh yeah, that's true. I follow the global warming anyway. I'm into stuff like that. If you don't save the environment, you can't save humanity, right?
Yeah.
Where are you from though? Where are you born and raised?
I was born and raised in DC, and then
Oh,
moved around the county in Maryland. Um, had a crazy life.
yeah.
Shit. I don't.
You said what again?
What I'm trying to get at is that
Mm-hmm.
I never really actually had independent freedom until I turned probably 28, 26, 20.
Mm.
I would say 27, because it's between when I was 26 and 28 when I actually started living out on my own in this world.
Mm.
Um, the reason for that was because I've been around, and eventually I got stationed in a residential rehab program.
Mm. What is
So
that?
it's like it was a it's like a it's like it's like a program. It's a housing program for people
Mm.
who have mental illness, or they have a drug problem, or both, basically.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I was accepted because at the time I was homeless and I just gotten out of a mental hospital.
Oh, okay. 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 How old
Now,
are you right now?
before you judge me there, I am mentally
No.
stable. I'm
Yeah,
mentally
I don't
stable,
do that.
medicated. So
I'm really interested to know what happened. I know right now this is not a good place to really talk about you know, personal into, you know, internal things like especially when it's on the open. So some things are just meant to be said between two people. But how old are you?
yeah, I'm about to be 37 this year.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
This year that means your birthday ain't came up yet. When's your birthday?
it's in June.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up.
It's coming. You have any plans?
Yeah. Uh, Probably not. I don't really celebrate any holiday, to be honest.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. That's
yeah.
interesting. You're the only child?
I mean, the only holiday or any event I celebrate is probably like my parents' birthday.
Okay.
And that's about it. I mean, um, Christmas is just pretty much get together with the family, eat something, and then go
Mhm.
home. You know, um, yeah.
I see. I see. You seem like you got a lot of stuff on
I'm
your
trying
mind.
to.
Mm.
There's a lot. I'm always thinking. That's
Yeah.
how I live.
Hey,
I
that's a
have a.
good thing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
People say I'm an
Like,
overthinker, but sometimes you got to think like that. If you don't think of both type of scenarios, the worst and the best, I don't think you make the best choice. You have to weigh both options. and you have to accept the consequences if there is any. But yeah, you have to always be thinking, especially in this world today.
I agree.
Especially in this world today. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's,
Um, yeah, on that topic. Oh man. Um,
at least you can laugh about it, right?
overthinking. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, there's a healthy way to overthink things, in my opinion, and there's an unhealthy way to
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's
overthink.
true.
It really depends on a person's own individual level of self-awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. I'm a very imaginative person anyway. I daydream a lot. I always put scenarios in my mind. Um, I didn't have a really, I wouldn't say I had a really rough childhood. I just had a difficult one because, you know, even to this day, like I have a mom who doesn't really speak really good English. So it's really hard to communicate with her. So I tried to learn, you know, some of the language and try to talk to her. But again, this day and age, it's different because the language that she speaks back then, it's not the same today. It's there's so many levels to it. So it's hard to communicate. So that's why sometimes like it's hard to meet people on the other side. It's really difficult because I don't know how to communicate. I just know the pinpoints of certain things. Like you're supposed to go and you're supposed to have a, you know, eat, but intellectual conversation, it just doesn't happen. So that's why it was so hard to try to figure out what it is to really talk about because there's so much stuff that's going on. You just, I mean, because I don't know. You could just really say like, what do you like to do for fun? But what can you really do for fun? What could you do for fun? I can't
Well,
wait for
my
the
idea.
weather to break.
Well, yeah, let's go with that. What do you do for entertainment to enjoy life, or on your free
To
time?
be honest with you, like me, I'm I take myself out to eat sometimes. I take myself out to eat, but I'm a very family oriented person. So, you know, I hang out with my house, me and my kids will come, we'll eat, we'll have a drink, we'll dance. It's like a club here with just me, my kids, and my grandkids. That's how it is. We just sit here and we just enjoy ourselves because I don't like competition. I don't like negative surroundings because you can get into the crossfire of a lot of things. So right now I just like, you know, go to the museums, probably visit the library. Um, I don't know, just regular things, you know, the zoo, just anything that's
Mm.
recreational. Sometimes if you want to just go outside, it's just good to go outside. But I like to go out to eat, sit down, and I take a book with me, and I just sometimes I'll read or sometimes I'll write. But I usually mostly write. So I'll probably go out to maybe TGIF, sit down, take my book, my pen, and then have a couple of Long Islands, chips and dip, and I just have a conversation with myself.
Hey,
It's
that's
hard to
pretty
get
cool.
you out
We
to
got
eat with young
something in
people.
common. I like to write too.
Really?
I'm yeah, I'm really into writing. I write a lot of different stuff. I make memes, I make jokes,
Oh.
I make um a lot of the times I like writing my own lyrics to my own different songs that I kind of make on my own in my own free time.
Wow.
I'm not like a famous rapper or anything.
Right.
I'm just doing it as a hobby.
Right. As leisure and to get your mind off of a lot of things. You just put it on paper. That's the best way to put it. That's the
Yeah.
best way to put it. And then when you go back and read it, you remember the time that you felt on that day. And it really makes you understand a lot of emotions that we have inside. And then you can understand why. Because before I mean, I'm not a very like strongly emotional person, but I'm very in tune with a lot of things. And I know that if you're not okay with yourself inside, you're no good out here.
Mm, I
Yeah, this
agree.
hard is that sometimes the worst struggle is with yourself. It has nothing
Yeah.
to do with other people, you know. Sometimes people can just trigger you, but that war that you have inside yourself is probably, I always say it's probably the hardest war to try to fight because you're against yourself. So
I
which
agree.
better half of you is going to win this time? But
But
hey, we
here's
all
something
have
you got
dark
to look
spots.
forward to in that war. Once you finish that with that war and everything's all done, you're just gonna have peace. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Um, it's funny how I see all these people who want world peace and they want no more wars and all these things. it's funny because you actually need to go through war to actually establish peace. Now, if you want world peace, the only way that's actually going to be possible in a realistic sense is if one nation conquers the whole planet and the whole planet is subject to that nation's rule. That is the ultimate way to get peace. Because right now we have so many different conflicting countries with different beliefs and different moral values and different ideas and how to judge and rule their government. It just doesn't work when we just all try to get together and figure something out. That's just not how life works.
Right. It's too many personalities and it's too many nations where everybody has a different belief.
It's just too much conflict out there.
Yeah, it is too
conflict.
Much.
It's really too much.
It definitely is. Where you work at?
I am currently unemployed. Well, actually, I'm just I can't really go into the detail, but
that's okay.
I'm currently under unemployment because I'm just kind of reaping the benefits. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I was about to say, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know. I mean, I don't blame nobody.
It's a really good time to be unemployed.
Yeah.
It really is. And I'm taking advantage of it. I am taking full advantage.
Absolutely. Take some time out. Let them take care of you for a little while. Why
not? What I used to do for a living is I started off as a pool manager, pool operator. I owned my own pool and managed it for a bit in my younger 20s.
When you say pool, you mean like what kind of pool?
Like a swimming pool, like a swimming pool.
Okay. That's what I was making. Yeah. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. Wow.
I have saved a few lives. You know, it's not what it is like in the TV shows, because some people are just, I can't curse, but you know, they are the hole in the butt, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you save their kid later has some kind of weird, I don't know, excuse for an injury or something. Something's hurting them, because like when you rescue someone, it's not always a safe rescue 100%. You know what I mean? When you try to rescue someone drowning, they're gonna struggle and they're gonna try and fight you. They're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm sorry. You know, they're just like, you know, the people panic and they're gonna resist you trying to save them. And then along the way, they're just gonna end up hurting themselves a little. And then what do? You end up with a lawsuit. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah. So being responsible and owning a pool is not what it's, you know, cut out to be. You really got to have your own lawyer ready. You got to be on top of your game. Make sure the pool's running optimal. Make sure your lifeguards are doing their work. It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Eventually, I got sick of working. You know, I just don't like responsibility, because I just hate dealing with other people and having to deal with their stuff. So I decided to be a butcher. You know what I mean? And
really?
Then,
oh man.
Yes. So I for about, I would say 5 years of my life, I was a butcher. And then, you know, and now it's just a great time to be unemployed, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you gotta write that. I understand what you're saying. Butchers, huh? I used to be scared. I remember one time somebody tried to get me to go inside that butcher house. I can't even do it. I can't even do it. I don't know what it is with stuff like that. I guess certain things I just can't see. I think I can. That's certain movies I used to can watch anything, but now it's just like, I don't know. I guess I got sensitive to a lot of things.
Well, you know, the sight of blood has a different effect on a lot of people.
Man.
It's not like me. It's just like, whatever, it's blood. But you know, yeah, it's just, I guess it all depends on how someone takes in information, you know?
Yeah, it can go either way. It can go either way. What do you do for fun though? What do you do when you're just get up in the morning and then we're like, what is your thing of the day? What is your start of the day?
Well,
Like, how do you keep
before I
yourself
got,
sane?
oh, how would I keep myself sane?
Yeah, you know,
Um,
in this wicked world, because you gotta
how do I
find it
keep myself
yourself.
sane? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So when I try to keep myself sane, I try to make up a spell in my own name. Try to put it together and piece it together in my own little brain. Something like that. You know, I just like to make up a little rhyme and see where I can elevate it to a different. I usually end up writing these down though. You know what I mean?
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see here. I probably have something I can read you.
Okay. You can still hear me?
Yes, I do. Okay.
Okay, cool.
I got one. This is a little poem I wrote. Can I read it?
Yes, of course.
Do you see me on the camera? Because I don't
No,
see.
I just see a rabbit. Is that your rabbit?
Oh, that's because I'm out of the Zoom app. Oh, geez, how am I gonna do this?
I know
Because I'm out of the Zoom app to look at what I wrote on my phone. Okay, look. Okay, so this is the poem I wrote. It's called "What's Life." Life is when you wake up and realize bad guys and good guys are actually a bunch of delusional wise guys, strapped trying to top like all of these each other spotlight. What I might suggest to you is to stop right, take a left around the corner across the stoplight, then go straight down the corner past the lost pike. What sight might you psych out with a slight notion of doubt that it might fight like a loose contrite argument lost in the confines of love of oh my god, my phone shut off. Sorry, my phone shut off, so I
That's
can't.
okay.
So it goes, what sights might you psych out with the slight notion of doubt that it might fight like a loose contrite? Arguments lost in the confines of without a doubt. You might want to lie and say that life might have gone side to the next life. But really, you just want to live for the moment in your own side. So you're on like whatever is on display on the on-site. Did I psych, or maybe show you words that sounded a lot like they were the same, but it's a lost life. You know, stuff like that.
Wow. You actually made it all rhyme too. I
Thank you.
try to do that too sometimes, but I just use any kind of words, and when I put it together, it sounds really funny. It does sound like a real rap song, because when you actually really sit down and listen to people, the real rap music, they don't really make any sense. I mean, listening to their lyrics, I'm like, that's not even a word. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, it's true, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of delusional things out there. But I don't know. I really don't know what delusional is, because the way I look at it is, if people see something or whatever people imagine, nobody really knows the reality of anything. I mean, just because my eyes didn't see it doesn't mean that it wasn't there.
Can I give you an example of delusional in my sense?
Sure.
Okay, so let's say you go around life expecting apples. Okay, let's say that's what you do in life. You expect apples to come your way, but instead life gives you oranges. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you gonna accept this orange as the orange? Are you gonna reject the orange and keep looking for that apple? Or are you just gonna accept the orange and pretend that orange is the apple and live your daily life like you accomplished something? You see, that third option is what I find to be prevalent in a lot of delusional people.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That third option where you just take that orange and believe,
and
oh,
believe
it's
it's an apple. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my idea of a delusional person.
Right.
You see what
a delusional person who has a very hard time accepting reality.
Yeah.
Because you can't, that type of delusion is really not, in my opinion, couldn't be that healthy, because it's just like saying, it's the same analogy that you're using. It's almost like saying you know how when you're a kid, your parents bought you like this little thing where you put like the triangle inside the triangle and the round piece inside the round piece. It's like putting the triangle inside that round piece.
Oh, those play blocks.
Yeah, but you know how they have
Yeah.
that little opening space where you have to put the right shape and rather for it to go in. That's what
Yeah.
what your thing is saying,
days.
because that's where that third part, when you really think about how it looks, that's why certain things, you know, people think it's gonna work out, but they don't realize they're just sitting there really trying to jam it in there. And it'll probably go in if you push it hard enough, but it doesn't fit. So guess what? If it doesn't fit, it's not going to really work right. I mean, I know the concept is to get it in there, but also the concept is to learn the shape and to make the right decision to make it easier for yourself. But a lot of people, yeah, when you're a little delusional like that, you do get clouded, and you just take whatever it is that's there.
Yeah.
But you have to accept what's coming, because you know why? We don't have the power to have certain, you know how people say, oh, it's your life and you make the decisions. That's not always true, because when something happens in our life, it's not like we asked for it. It's not like we asked for those type of things to happen to us. It's just when it comes to us, we have to learn to deal with it at that moment. You could be the most happiest person in the world. Something can just, you know, a meteorite can just come and just destroy your whole world. But if you're the only one that's going to survive, are you going to, I mean, what are you really going to do? I mean, it's really up to that individual, how they see the world after the effect.
There's also that, and there's also people who already know or kind of see what's gonna come in the future, and they just, depending on what they see, they either want to prevent it from happening or actually achieve what they're going to see. You know.
That is true. That's why I say it's a crazy world out there, because you don't know what other people are seeing. You just don't know what other people are really seeing. What? Why you say
recorded, so I can't go into that whole category of this crazy world.
You got to keep that.
If I were
you got
to
to just keep that in your mind.
Crazy world, if I were to talk about, oh my God, if I were to talk about this crazy world,
this will be called the never-ending story.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
geez,
I understand that.
Where to start if I were to talk about this crazy world. You know what? That inspired me though. I'm gonna write down these thoughts down on paper and then make something happen.
Wow, really? That's good.
Something about this crazy world. You just inspired me today. That's cool.
Oh, awesome. Oh my gosh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, yeah, I'm gonna write something about this crazy world.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's cool. You have a lot of friends and stuff out there?
I used to, and then I kind of cut all these people off.
Really? Okay. Okay.
I realized that growing up in high school and middle school and in college, the main focus around a person's world during that age is just how cool they are, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, I got to a point where I was in my mid-20s onward to 30s, and I realized friends suck. Being cool is overrated. And so now here I am being what I am, you know? Just a loner, pretty much. I don't give a F bomb. Like, I have a big motto I live by, and it's just it goes by the acronym IDGAF. You know, that is my motto. That's my acronym. IDGAF. Like that is how I live my life. I mean, I
really wow.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Now, I know from what you're telling me, you're a woman whose world revolves around her family and everything that she's helped raise and bring into this world.
Yeah.
And you try to, you know, make it work with your life and try to enjoy it together. That's cool. Me, I'm a different kind of. Let's backtrack. Okay. Let's backtrack. How about I start with asking you this question? Do you believe in destiny? Do you believe that there's a soulmate out there for you, a twin flame, you know, all this little magical, romantic stuff? Do you actually believe in it? Is what I'm asking.
That's a part of my imaginative state. But
Mm.
in the human world, I just think I don't believe that things happen for a reason, because that means then that if that's the case, that means then the question would be more like, am I a pawn on this earth then? I mean, is the whole purpose for me to be on this earth is for to find that person? Like, who's really going to go through all that? I do believe in romance. I believe in all that. I believe it when you find it, but you have to build that foundation for it. You can't have it if you don't know what it is in yourself. And sometimes I think it's almost like going out there trying to find another you. And that's really hard. Even though they say in this world that there's another person that's like you in this universe or some other, what if it's not here? What if it's somewhere else? What if it's the afterlife? Who would ever know? I don't know. I just try to live the day the way it is and just try to do the right thing for my sake to clear my path. So I don't have a guilty conscience. And that's why my head's not heavy. That's why I don't stress out a lot, because if you do some things the right way, you don't have to backtrack. And then, and I don't like when I know I'm making a mistake, because that means later down the road, I got to go back and correct that. So what's the sense of correcting it back there when I could just make it right? If it doesn't work right there and then, I still can move forward. There's no way for me having to look back, because I made the right choice. But sometimes when I just live by trying to do the right thing, because when you don't do it that way, that stuff comes back, and you can't sit here and say, oh man, I don't deserve this. Like, who are we to say what we deserve and not deserve? We don't know why we're here. We're just here. Our parents got together and here we are. That's the result of it. So what is a soulmate? So I mean, sometimes people are born in different ways, not the ways that other people think, by out of love and two people got together. Some people are here for other reasons. So you just can't absolutely, you can't just take them out and say, oh well, that's different. Everybody's raised different, but the way soulmate is, it's just a giving you, it's like giving humanity some kind of hope, like religion, like something better is going to come. And because I just believe that you just have to live day by day the way it is, because what's better to come? The way I look at it is a lot of crazy things going on. So if that's what you think better is coming, I just wish I can live to see what it really is, so I can judge it for myself. But soulmate, I think that's all within the humanity state of who we are inside. I don't think I do truly believe in the universe and I trust it a lot. So I can't say that I don't do that, but destiny, I don't know about all that. I'm 46. So there's a reason why I'm on this channel, because I don't know, soulmates are
You're on
really,
that search. You're still on
yeah,
that search.
yeah. And it's
Can I
not just
tell
about
you?
soulmates, it's
Can you
just
tell you?
people.
Well, can I tell you my story real quick?
Absolutely.
In my life, I actually met my soulmate, my destiny. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, she was the first woman I gave my virginity to. It's like everything kind of fit like a picture. Okay. But then she asked me this question, the same question I just asked you. Do you believe in destiny? Do you believe that there is a soulmate? And just like you, this was when I was around the age of 20, 21. Just like you, I said, or I felt that destiny, soulmate, that's all kind of like a trap. It's kind of like something like you have no escape. You know what I mean? Like it's some kind of like what you were saying, like a little thread of hope to like on a bait on a hook to keep you going, kind of thing. I said exactly that, like just like how you were saying, but in my own words, because I did believe that destiny was just like how you explained it. She disappeared forever. I this is why I have a motto of just IDGAF. Do you see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like I just don't, I just that's just me. I fucked up. I mean, I'm sorry. I screwed up, and I realized I screwed up. And every day, when a song plays, when I look at life, something out there reminds me of her. It hurts. My heart is broken, so broken and shattered that I just don't, GAF. You know what I mean? This is me. I've already met that soulmate and that twin flame, and I messed up, and now I just don't care.
But how you feel that how did you feel that you messed up? You think your answer was wrong?
I think my answer offended her and hurt her really deeply. Because I guess in her world, I guess she really believed that I was her soulmate, that I was her destiny, you know?
I feel what you're saying.
And so my answer just said, I guess it broke her heart or something. Well, now my heart is just broken every day from that point on.
But let me tell you in a different sense. Let me tell you in a different sense how to look at that in a way, in my opinion. Just because you said that, how do you not know that maybe she was just afraid that, because you're young. So when you're young, that's just like somebody saying to you, if you started your first job and you got your first paycheck, you ain't never had a paycheck ever. You get your first paycheck. Let's say that you work at McDonald's, you got your first paycheck. You went to go buy those first pair of gym shoes that you've been wanting since your parents don't ever want to buy you some shoes. You went and bought that first pair of gym shoes. And then somebody asks you like, man, you know, how do you like that job? And you say, man, this is my dream job. Just because it got you the shoes that you ever wanted, you know, you're so excited. But as time goes by, you realize shoes is not the only thing that a person needs. There's something that's bigger behind the shoe. So when life goes on and you get older, you start to realize those things that you want, that's a lot more important than just those shoes that you always wanted. But those shoes will always be that pivot point in your life that got you to a higher level, because you know there's something more behind those shoes, because now you probably want boots, now you probably want a car, now you want a house. Now, so when you're young, you think as a child. Like if you ask a child right now what is the best thing in their life, they might tell you a piece of candy that they had the other day. That's just because in their world, at that level of their mind, you haven't explored. So the reason why I say that is because, you know, I have a best friend that this is the first man that I've ever fell in love with. And the reason why, when we first started dating, I started to see some immaturity in him. And I said to him, I don't want to date at this moment, but because you have a lot of growing to do, we're never going to make it, because there's so much more to what we see right now, because we only see what the level that we are. But we haven't grown. We don't know what we need, because we're still in that growth stage. I says, but when you grow and I grow and there's growth in between, something might come out of that. Me and him to this day are best friends. And I still love him as a man, but at the same time, I'm just proud how mature he's gotten. And I encourage him all the time to date and stuff like that, because that's the only way you'll understand. And I don't think that that's called being a soulmate. But when you're that young, it's hard to say what really soulmate is, because you haven't really grown in. That's the reason why I say when people say something about destiny and soulmate, because sometimes I think about other people who, like, let's say my parent, like some people out here who met a man that they so love, and they die in the hands of that person. That's why I say soulmate is really a hope for people, because one person might think one way, the other person might think another way. But when you're an open person, at that moment, when that question was asked, your answer at that moment is the experience, or at that moment what you felt at that age. But now you're talking to me as a man that you are today, and you've understood, you know, where you stood at that moment. But at that moment, that's just not how you were feeling at that moment. Right now, you understand what it is, but you still needed time to grow to see what the world has, even if it didn't have anything for you. But
oh yeah,
it's hard though.
Like,
it's really hard.
I didn't let it get in the way and keep me from engaging in other relationships.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I cope with it every day.
Right. I
by
see.
just pretty much trying to live. I mean, there's a lot of detail I haven't told you. It's very personal.
I'm sure.
It's also because as I go over it in my mind, it sounds very far out, very symptomatic. She traumatized me is the truth. And that's how I have to cope with it. Is that the whole experience was traumatic for me. You understand? The whole experience to me was a trauma. It was very traumatic. And the fact that it didn't happen all at once, it was just gradual until I came to the point where I just realized I'm never gonna see her again, because I don't know where, you know. I mean, as far as moving on, I mean, to relate with your experience, I would say I've had a few partners along the way, you know? Who's to judge what that makes of you? It's really you yourself. You just can't let other people judge you for having a desire to see other people, you know? I mean, I'm not saying during a relationship or anything, but you know, as a single person,
right, just a
looking
single
for a
person.
romantic interest, you're gonna wanna see what choices you have available, right?
Right. That's true. You want to know your options. That's anything.
Exactly.
That's anything.
And what's important to each individual when they're looking for a relationship is strictly for that person, you know?
That's true. That's absolutely true. That's why I said that's absolutely true. Because at that moment, you don't know what a person's looking for. Like, I know a couple who this man wanted to have kids so bad. So, you know, they both got married and stuff. Like, she wanted children too. They both got married and had children. Guess who's raising the kids? She is. Once the baby got here, it's, oh man, this is really hard. Oh man, this baby. Now it's, first it was more, you know, I can't wait. Now when the baby's here, now I can't wait to get rid of it. When does it grow up? When does it get out of here? Like, we don't know we don't know what the future has. We're not sorcerers. We're not fortune tellers. Even though there's people out there that's like that, I don't truly think that. I think intuition has something to do with what the fate could be later down in the future, but nobody really holds the answer to the future. Because if that's the case, then someone would try to get in tune with it and try to make it a difference. But you know how they always say one person can make a difference? I don't believe that one person can actually make a difference. I just think that it takes a nation. It takes a lot of minds and a lot of power to get things moving.
A lot of collective minds. Yes.
It does. And the way that people think, like you said, you know, everybody's different. I'm when I get into relationships, I don't ever try to change nobody. I just try to be the person that I am. What I've realized out here in this world, what people are lacking is compassion and passion, you know, and being true to themselves. Those are the three things that I've learned in relationships, that I've learned out of my experience, that I see a lot of people don't have. Like, they come to you one way, they're not transparent with themselves, which makes them not transparent with you. And then when everything starts to pile up and come to hands,
there's a very suspicious, shady little feeling going around.
All right, because if you love yourself that much, you could care less what other people think. Because listen, if you're already single for 5-6 years, if you got to go on throughout the years being like that, that's your prerogative. But who's going to bend over backwards and try to make something work when you know it's not going to work? Again, it goes back to that thing where you're trying to stick that circle inside that square. It's not going in. But we try so hard, and that's what gets, and then what happens to that device when you're trying to shove it in there? It gets damaged. Even though it gets in there, that's when it becomes, like you just said, it's traumatizing. It's traumatizing because who wants to beat something in there with a hammer? If it doesn't fit naturally, then we as human beings have this way of, we always want things to work. But a lot of times people have a problem with communication. That's the number one key. Nobody knows how to talk to each other, you know, like I was just telling the host that I was in all these little groups that they're having. And what I realized, a lot of groups that I was in, I kind of took myself out of, which a lot of people are asking me why, is because one thing that I've realized in these groups that they don't have is honesty and transparency. I'm not saying that you got to go in and tell this person that. I'm saying respectful conversations that really needs to happen. Like, sometimes you feel like you're sitting in a daycare where there's a teacher above you telling you what you can and cannot do, and how to write something. You're not writing this right. You're not right. Like, we are people. There's everybody just because you're in college and have a master's degree don't make you smarter than me. And I only if I have a GED. Experiences make a person a lot more wiser than education. Education just teach you how to do things when you read it and how to comprehend. But when you go out there in that real world, into that real job, it's nothing like what you've studied. It's totally different. And then when you do it repetitively for 5-6 years, guess what? You go to work and you can just do it just off the back. You can do it with your eyes closed. That's what a relationship is too. But it has to be that easy. It can't be that hard. Like, if you have understanding, you have that compassion and passion. That's why I say that's where it stands on. And sometimes a lot of people, I used to think, before, when I started dating after college, I used to think maybe it's me. Maybe I come off, maybe I'm too passionate. But I realized it has nothing to do with me. Some people are just hard to accept what love is. They're afraid of it and they run. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with me. You could be the best person in the world, and you maybe are, but that person, a person will believe a lie before they believe the truth. I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. You can tell somebody the truth and they'll give you the like, yeah, okay. But if you lie and say something wrong, they'll be like, yeah, okay, I believe that. That's the
Well, it's still
concept of
like
these
lying
people
and
around
say
here.
something you want to hear, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. See?
Most of the times, it's people lie to give someone what they want to hear.
Right, right.
You
And
know,
then you see the difference. And it's like,
it's,
it's how that person
um,
accepts the truth. You don't have to be like, if something's going on and you tell the truth like you did earlier when you just said all this stuff, and you're like, don't judge and stuff like that. Like we all have issues.
mm,
Some people wish to disclose them, and look, and some people have it deep down inside where you find out later down the road that this person has a problem.
yeah.
We all have a problem. It's how we suppress them. That's where communication comes in, how you just opened up and said those things. You probably don't want everybody to know what you got going on, but at the same time, that's the map and the makeup of who you are as a person and your experience up until the age that you are. Who's to judge you
Mm,
for that? Nobody knows what you went through. Just because you're looking at a person, I have like certain scars on my face, and people say a lot of things, but I find that to be sometimes that's how I grew up. Remember some of the markings, but that's my experience and my truth. But you know, nobody would know that unless you actually get it. Like I had an interview not too long ago about this whole situation, and a lot of people are texting me like, Rachel, I didn't know your life was like that. I said, because I don't live like that. I don't walk around here wanting people to look at me like, yeah, I went through this and that. I don't start off my conversation that way. I start off with the now of what's going on, because that's who I was in the past. But that past is very important to me, because if that didn't happen to me, I don't think I would see the world the way that I am today. So
mm,
even though some things are bad, I appreciate those things, but I can just tell you honestly that nothing really detrimental ever happened to me to a point where I feel that I don't deserve certain things. I just try to do the right thing. And I'm a really good listener. I'm a really good friend. I really have a lot of good friends. It's just it's hard to be in a relationship with people who are not transparent with themselves. Like I can't be with somebody who lies to themselves, because if you lie to yourself, which is the greater value of anything, then I'm nobody to you. That's the
well,
way I
you
look at
pretty
it.
much answered why I cut a lot of my friends off.
Really?
The only friends I have now, it's funny how your real, true best friends are the ones that kind of move away and split apart from where you're located and just carry on their own lives, and they move somewhere else. But
Yeah.
if you just still see, I use this thing called Discord. Have you heard of Discord?
Mm-mm.
It's a voice app messenger for the PC. I
Oh
talked to a
no.
lot of talked to a lot of my friends through there.
Okay.
Um, the reason for that is I used to have a Facebook account that I deleted, and there's a big, rich history and territory in that Facebook account that I'm not going into. But I'm saying now, as who I am, I made a new Facebook account, trying to start a new page, like how what you're doing, you know. But in a different, what you're doing is more for your romantic. For what I'm doing is just for my own self-preservation.
Mm.
Um, um, I don't know why I had to tell you this. It just felt like I'm very communicative. Okay, so when were you born?
I was
Like
born in
what month?
I
What
was born in
month?
February.
February. So I would say you're either an Aquarius or maybe a Capricorn Pisces or something. I mean,
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aquarius. That's cool. So that explains why we can talk and actually connect a lot of things. But I see where you're coming from. You see where I'm coming from. I mean, it's cool how while we're talking, I get the sense we're just reading each other. You know what I mean? And that's usually how a connection happens. You know what I
How it
mean?
starts. Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Yes, it
that's
does.
that's just how it works. My method, as you can see, is I kind of let you into my world. I kind of let you pierce what's here's the reason why I do that. I give off the wrong idea on first impression. Do you understand what I'm saying? A lot of people see me and they just get all sorts of weird impressions about me. As far as transparency, as you're saying, when I'm being as transparent as possible, okay, depending on my mood and who I'm dealing with, I'm either going to be coming across as, you know, warm, friendly, nice guy, smart guy, you know, all that. There's that. And then there's also this very shady, kind of like spooky, like hair-raising feeling that I give to other people. I don't think you can't see it, you can't sense it because this is over Zoom.
You have to be.
You know?
You have to
be there with me.
Yeah, you have to be in the presence.
You have to be in my presence.
Yeah.
Feel a little bit of a chill. Do you understand?
Yeah.
To feel something that there's something kind of shady, something that's, you know, I have that. I don't know where, you know, some people can see right through it. That's the thing. You know what I mean? See that who I am deep down, that I'm just a normal person like everyone else. I just want to be happy. I want to do the right things, you know? I used to live a life where I felt like, how would I word this? Okay, so what I used to do when I talk to people is I would say the directive in secondary position, secondary perspective, as in putting that word "you" in there. We're not directly realizing that what I'm saying is it can come across as I'm trying to dictate something to these people, or you know, just you've met these people out, you know, that when they try to explain something, they always put you, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I used to be like one of those people. I used to be kind of, okay. Let's backstep a bit so you understand. This might also explain why I might give some people chills. When I was growing up, my whole life, people have always told me you're gonna die at an early age. People have said you're not gonna make it past 30. Even a doctor, I even had a couple doctors say you probably won't make it past 32. I'm 30, almost 37 now. You see what I'm saying? Now that can, I had a lot of trauma, you know, that either way. What I'm saying is they were right. I can't say they were wrong, because I did get to a point when I was around my age of 27 when I actually committed suicide, self-inflicting it on myself chemically. I just basically, my whole body, brain, everything shut down. And all I remember, as much as I can gather what I remember, or try to remember from seeing the afterlife.
Wow.
I woke up chasing a light at the end of the tunnel. Do you understand? I woke up staring at the ceiling, chasing a light at the end of the tunnel. I looked down and I spoiled my pants. You understand?
Wow.
Like my whole body just shut down, everything. And when I woke up, I realized my eyes were open, staring at the ceiling. You see that this is just a shocking. When it happened at the time, I didn't know I died. I was just like, maybe I passed out for a few hours. The more I think about it, my story actually relates to a lot of coma survivors. You see?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
So I have a little spookiness about me that's just there. I actually died and I came back, but not like Jesus. You know, I'm not Jesus. Okay.
I don't think
I'm not going around like I'm Christ because I died. No, I don't do that.
Oh man, I was gonna say, if you were Jesus, I need some of that holy water. I need some more of my hair to grow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not spooky though.
Yeah.
That's crazy because I'm interested in stuff like that. Like I'm really interested in stuff like that. I had a daughter who had an asthma attack that actually walked into the hospital. She walked into the hospital, right to the hospital door, and collapsed going in, and she was out. It was pronounced dead on arrival, but because she passed out into the hospital, they had to resuscitate her. So 7 minutes, no oxygen. They came to tell me that she was out of there, but when the intercom came on, they were saying that her heart came back onto the monitor, and they rushed back in there, but because she had an asthma attack, but she survived though, and she's still good today. But I'm gonna tell you something, that there's been stories that she tells me that I'm so interested in, but I haven't really, like, it's only been 3 years ago, but I don't really try to bring that memory up, not yet. But she says certain things, and I'm like, wow, like I've always been interested in stuff like that. But the doctors told me that she will never be the same person. She will never be the same. But I was like, and I had all these little people saying, well, it's in God's hand. I said, it's in nobody's hands for her own body, because God doesn't control. He doesn't wave a wand to say who lives and who dies. That's what people think that's going on wherever it is. But I don't believe in that. I believe about we as in humans, we have the ability. Our body has the ability to fight unconsciously. People in the coma, it's not because they don't want to open up their eyes and sit up and be like, what just happened? That means their body's still trying to fight. They still pumping somewhere. They're still alive somewhere. And it's not because they have that will. It's just the way that our body is. And when she came out of it all, she was in a horrific state. She couldn't walk, talk. She had a bag where she had to use the bathroom. Like, it was a hot mess. And they were telling me she was never going to be a normal person. She was going to be in a vegetable state for the rest of her life. So I said, it's whatever you say. I said, I read
And then
about.
she ended up proving them wrong.
But they don't know that yet, because when we go in there, I tell her to play like she's stupid, and I do, because I already know that if she go in there and show them any type, like, she has hypoxia brain damage, meaning the frontal part of her lobe there's no activity. There's no activity. When she goes to get her, her scans, there's no activity there. There's no neurons fighting in there. So, sometimes they really worried about her. They still think she wears Pampers and all this stuff, but they don't realize the hard work that we put into her. They think she's still bonded to a wheelchair. She's walking functionally, telling jokes. And you know what's so funny? Her memory and everything about her cognitive development, she's not supposed to have, but she has them all. She remembers the day she went
So
in
you're
there,
just
passed out.
doing this for the insurance benefits.
Not the insurance, because I took her off of my insurance and put her on the public insurance.
Oh,
because I'm not paying for it. I'm not paying for it.
Right.
But I
that's
just
still
did that
beneficial
because,
for you and her. So
because I don't want them to turn into like they're gonna wanna do buy-up. They're gonna want to do those things. I know that about that field, but I know how scary stuff like that can be. That's why when you was describing it to me, it brought me back to situation that she was saying. But I don't. Even she thinks that it's kind of like scary, but she said, "Ma, I know you're interested in stuff like this." That's the first thing she said. She said, "But I have to tell you what I saw." And she said, "I thought I was dead already, because when I saw you guys standing in front of me," she said, "I just saw you look like shadows, but you had no face. Only I can hear the voices, but the shadows were shaped different. But I kind of knew who everybody was, but nobody had a face. They were just filled with some kind of light inside." And then she was like, and there was this light that was really, really small. She's like, and that's where I was going towards. And I said, and I told my daughter, people always say, look towards the light, because that's where you're looking. But did you ever turn around? Because maybe there's a light that's behind you that's shining off, that's bouncing off. I said, see, but you have to look at it in both ways. But I'm like, when she told me that, and I said, you know what? She's like, I thought I was dead already. She said, that's why I cried. And she said, I couldn't speak out my mouth, but I can hear myself talking. And I was like, you probably did, because I was standing there the whole time and you never opened your eyes. Sure. Yeah. Her eyes was halfway open, but she was staring straight into the ceiling, and they were telling me that she was out of there. But I'm like, but the pupils was moving this way and that way. So I'm like, okay, she's in a sleep state, because when the eyes move like that, that means she's in a sleep state. Yep. Yeah. So I was like, she sees something. There's something. She's gonna come back. Like she's just so far gone. And that's what I think she was doing, walking towards that light. So when we went over there, and I said, we have to come together, stand around her and talk to her. So wherever that light is that she turned back around and come back this way. So that's why when we kept talking to her, we kept holding her hand. I said, come back this way. It's almost like the Poltergeist movie, don't go to the light. Remember when she told her to go to the light, Caroline? That at the end of the thing, while the girl was walking toward her, like, she's like, wait, don't go to the light, go back the other way. Like, that's how much something really is, because we really don't know what that light is. We don't know if it's the other side, but that's interesting. That is amazing. Like, I hope you have something that you wrote about that, because that's exhilarating. You saw something that a lot of people want to see. They want to experience, even though it's not a good experience.
From personal experience, what I felt was that
wow.
Wow. What's really far out is how your story actually. This is your daughter, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Story of your daughter kind of almost reflects my own in a way, but it's different,
Mm-hmm.
But I am 100% sure there were before like what you were saying is right. Like she chased that light at the end of the tunnel and woke up. Now that I don't know. Well, what you said about looking behind you and seeing what's behind you before approaching the light, that's not gonna. That's almost impossible to do. When afterlife. Okay, so over the years, learning about what I witnessed, God is not what you think God is, according to what's written in the Bible, according to what's written in the Quran, according to what's written anywhere. God is not like that.
Yep. Yep. I believe it.
Okay. To understand how I felt when I had my moment of passing.
Wow.
I felt like I was totally possessed and under the control of this thing that calls itself God. And whatever this thing was telling me, and however, whatever emotions or whatever things I felt from it or got from whatever this thing that was possessing me, because when in the afterlife there's no hell, actually. There's no hell. Hell and heaven does not exist in the afterlife. It's just it's filled, but it's empty. It's like void, dark space, but it's very filled. It does not feel like you're alone in there. Okay. You have no control over what you feel, what you judge, what you think about when this thing called God possesses you, and sort of just that's it. You just don't have free will. That's you can't make a choice. Yes, it makes you see and think and do and everything what it wants you to do. And eventually, there was a light, and it just kind of like pushed me towards the light, And the light got bigger and bigger. And in case, and how that relates to what your daughter saw, she saw a little light in the back, and in the distance, she just decided to go for it, and that's how she came back to you. See, it's funny how a lot of us who went through a coma like state share that same story in the end, where we chase the light at the end of the tunnel. See what I'm saying? That is far out. How you? That's cool. We have a lot of spectral energy that kind of parallels each other's worlds here. Very interesting. Very interesting. People are interesting itself. I learn a lot of things. Just waking up every day, I learn something new.
Yeah. I'm very in tune. Like, that's why I think that's why I said that you can't be that much of a bad person just because people, they don't know how to treat a person like you. That's the problem, because people are afraid. People are afraid of transparency. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. I'm not saying people just got to go out there and just lay their life on the line. But when I mean transparency, it means to be true to that light that you have that's inside of yourself, or whatever it is. There's a lot of, I can be friends with atheists. I can be friends with a lot of I can be friends with a lot
I
of
don't get along with atheists.
kind of people. I've never met one, but I can talk in a forum with atheists. I mean, it's whatever you believe is what you believe, because guess what? You're not gonna hold my hand, and we ain't going nowhere together. We all have our own personal path that we gotta follow. You can't do what I'm doing, and I can't do, even if we both do it together, we still end up somewhere separate.
Here's the thing. I just cannot accept atheists because of what I've told you, the fact that I actually experienced death and I actually experienced God. I just cannot agree with these atheists and what they stand for and what they're trying to say. Now, when an atheist comes up to me and says, God's not real, I say, God is real. Atheist goes, okay, this is just an example, what I'm trying to lay down. Atheists will go, prove it. 9 out of 10 atheists are going to say, prove to me God is real. You know what I say? You know, your whole cognitive structure, there is no death. I'm sorry, but there is going to be a day that comes where you're going to die, and you're going to realize that that is the ultimate proof that God is real, because you die. If you really were a God and you could not die, you can go around and say there is no God because you yourself is the God. You're totally contradicting your own theory and your own religion and belief system, is what I tell them. You know, and there are a lot of ways to say it. More often than not, I cannot just advocate them to do what I did and say, you know what, you should kill yourself. That's just wrong altogether. But in my personal experience, I find that when I did that and I actually chased that light at the tunnel and woke up, my whole life just turned into a different direction. You see? And so my experience is a very, well, from what I got from my experience, I just can't simply say, you know what, killing yourself is good for you. There's no way I can say it. You know what I mean? I just, everywhere I go, people are saying you're just not allowed to do that. You know what I mean? You just can't say, you know. But in my world, it's like, gee, I think I became a better person when I killed myself, you know? Wow. So it's very contradicting every day going outside and trying to meet people who actually think like me, see? And now I like how you can relate and you can understand. That's cool. I met a lot of people like you.
That's good.
Okay. I also met a lot of people who are not like you.
Right.
More so people not like you than people like you, you know? But that's life.
That's life.
What I learned is that if you are truly loved by God, God will tempt you with the devil. Because in the Bible, it doesn't literally say it, but everyone who is loved by God gets tempted by the devil.
Absolutely.
That's just life.
That's the word that you have yourself. And maybe that's what you know, I don't want to be insensitive by just saying that, because sometimes I always think that when a lot of people do that, sometimes that's probably the defeat that you had with that war that you had within yourself. Sometimes in war, you have to shed that blood. And sometimes in war, your own life makes you a better life. You know, they always say about the afterlife, but you know, atheist type of people are very angry people. And I don't feel sorry for them. I just feel bad for them that they just haven't seen the light. Sometimes you don't necessarily, you know, how a person who don't believe in ghosts because they don't see it. To me, I think like that's how atheists are. Like, who the hell are you to think that you're so much higher than somebody that you have to actually experience something to believe it? Then you do think you're a God. So don't stop saying that you don't believe in it, because you think you are it yourself. But you're walking around this world and you don't even have the answers to how you got here or how anybody got here or how this world functions in the way. Atheist people, to me, are just really dense people that's just out here to make other people angry. They're just like little small demons that just run around torturing other people by saying things to get them riled up. That's why I say because it's like you're just a sad person who you don't believe in yourself. See? So
yes,
good for you.
But
good for you.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I say? Yep. What is worse, a devil or a demon? That's pretty much what I have to ask you.
What's worse?
Now, a lot of people, when they associate something negative, something that's bad, they associate it with the demon. They omit the devil. You see this cognitive thought process that's trending around in a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
They're more afraid of the demon than the devil. That's basically what it's saying. You know what I mean? I would rather get rid of the demon than the devil.
Yeah.
In scripture, it says, Jesus himself, when you exorcise or banish a demon, 7 devils will come in its place. He said it himself. But people everywhere are going around saying, I hate demons. They need to die. They need to go away. They don't realize they're just contradicting what the very person they worship is saying. It's very funny. It's very funny what religion has come down to. If you observe the average modern day, I would say ignorant Christian, because there are Christians who are waking up and starting to see how faith works in reality compared to superstition. There are people like that. But let's take it to these ignorant modern day Christians. If you observe them on their way to church or in front of their church, there is a big statue of their God dead on a cross. What does that tell you right there? They go to this church to pray to their God, who they idolize as someone who is dead on a cross. You see, I mean, you see what I'm saying? Isn't that what?
I didn't even look at. I never even
love this?
seen it.
I mean that itself says, wow, you are delusional. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's a
Funny.
very good step. I didn't even think of it. I never even looked at it that way.
I mean, if I was God and I was looking up down from heaven, and I see people who are supposedly my fans and who supposedly love me so much, they come to this little building to worship me, and what do they have outside that building? A fucking statue of me dead on the cross. Like, if I was Jesus, I would be offended. You know, I would be really offended. Like, you worship me and this is how you want to see me. Like, it's very funny, but this is the reality. People have become so delusional. They're just not self-aware of what they're doing themselves, you know? It's very funny, but that's just one of the examples I'm trying to lay down for you. Like,
I never seen it that way. I just, I don't go to church. My church is inside myself. I believe in a higher power because I truly do, because we didn't get here by ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
We didn't get here by ourselves.
I am 100% for God, absolutely negative 100% for religion. That's just my stance on the whole idea.
Yes. That's true. I don't belong to no religious group or anything like that. I just believe in a higher power. I just don't give it a name at that moment, because at the same time, I know it exists, and deep down. So there's certain things that I don't discuss because I know it's not right. I know you're anointed by certain things, but at the same time, it's like sometimes people take religion so far off. When you really look at them, like, you're really not even living that lifestyle. So how could you really sit here and say those words if that's not, again, the transparency of people? It's like, again, it's almost like again, destiny. It's like some kind of hope that they have, that they just, how they try to pride that religion into people, but you don't even know your own book. You don't know your own story. I question people a lot sometimes about the Bible too, about some of the stuff that they read. Like, I read a lot of books. I read Buddhism. I read a lot of stuff. I'm not loyal to any religion. I'm loyal to myself and to what I know, that doing the right thing is the right way. I don't try to take advantage of people.
I have to judge you from everything you told me. I would say you're on the perfect path to happiness. You are on that. You are way past. I can tell you've just been through a lot of hell and a lot of things of heaven. Yeah, a lot more good than bad, but you have been through hell and heaven. That's the path of everyone who's lived over, I guess, 30. 30 is the mark. Yeah. It's a safety mark. A lot of people start wising up after they hit that 30 mark.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed. It's a common trend, but that's life. And that's why people either die before they're 30 or live past 30 and become something else, you know,
Yeah, that's
from
the
what they
truth.
thought they should be growing up.
Yep. That's the sign of growth. I mean, some people at that age, some like that's a lot of things that I see too in a lot of people. Like I meet a lot when I bump into some people that I haven't seen in a long time. I'm like, man, sometimes you just look at them like, man, like they always say to me, oh, like, you don't look change justice, but everything inside has though. My beliefs in a lot of things, like you're supposed to take the experience in life and use it as wisdom, but you just don't sit with it and just ponder in it and don't move anywhere. But you got to grow, because time don't wait for anybody. Time doesn't wait, because guess what? Tomorrow's going to be here if you're going to be here or not. It's just how you going to live it to make sure, because it's hard out here. It's really hard out here. It's really hard out here. But your happiness got to come from here. That's the only way it'll shine, just like that light. You experienced it, so you know what the feeling is. But to you explain it to somebody, it's kind of hard for them to concept it if they don't understand what the difference is. Like, there's goodness out there. It's goodness is hard to find, because bad you can find anywhere.
Yeah.
Goodness is hard to find. Like I used to tell my friend,
I agree.
right, when they're looking for love, I'm like, you might be looking in the wrong town. Just because you live in Chicago don't mean they're in Chicago. Like, you really have to search, because goodness is far. You'll know, spirits talk to each other. You'll know when a good person is in front of you. Because I have a lot of intuition. Sometimes when I talk to somebody, I'm like, oh, this person's giving me a weird, dark feeling. And then, it's just like, okay, cut it short. I know it probably doesn't have anything to do with the actual person, but at that moment, that person's life, there's something that's just not right at that moment. But spirits talk to each other. Because if it's in me, it's in that person too. That person's probably just going through their hell.
Well, from what I'm getting, what you're telling me is that you have gotten to that level of transparency where your impulses, your instincts are very true to itself.
Yeah, it really is. Because at the same time,
it's something you can actually trust, and
yeah,
and it's actually there, and it's pretty prevalent in your life in all those years that you have I would say properly guided your impulses and your instincts to the right motives and stuff.
I have to, because I've realized, like, even in my last relationship, it's more like, sometimes I see a lot of times people want you to rage. They want you to act a certain way. Like they'll say things like, you act like you don't care. That doesn't, just because a person sit there not saying anything, that doesn't mean that they don't care. It could just mean that they're calculating, or that they're listening. You're going to listen and respond to what that person is saying, or you're just going to respond because you just need something to say. There's two different ways. You're going to listen to somebody, listen to their point of view. If you don't have anything to say, you're just quiet and you're quietly listening, and you're just trying to get a full understanding of what's going on. A person who constantly just keeps rebutting and keep rebutting, you can't keep rebutting if you don't have your time, if you're not giving yourself time to think. If anybody can think in less than a second that way, then you got to be a genius. But some things, everything in the world needs processing. Even the good stuff, you still got to think. Like, you still got to think. You still got to think if that good thing is obtainable. And if it is obtainable, what are the consequences behind that? But not saying that everything that you do, you got to calculate. But man, we're all like on a chessboard, and we have to, and are you going to let the people use you, or are you going to be your own? You're going to be your own person that's moving the people that's on that board, or are you just going to be sitting there and let people tell you where you need to go? I can't live that way, because even though they try to put you there, you got to keep coming out of that situation. So you got to take over yourself. That's why I said you have to trust yourself. Even, like I said, even if the decision is wrong, but you made a choice.
I feel as though we're like minds and we kind of have different paths going along our own life, I just wanted to ask you a quick thing. You're gonna have to pardon me on this, because I have a cannabis prescription. I'm a cannabis patient, so I smoke a lot of pot, and my memory is a little kind of iffy, But could you just tell me real quick your name and how old are you again?
Rachel. I'm Rachel. I don't think I said.
Okay.
Okay. 46.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Now, based on what you're telling me,
Smoke session.
I'm not judging or anything.
Oh no.
I just need to know that so I can identify you. Rachel, I just want to say basically what I'm trying to get at. Rachel, I believe that you and we should, communicate, keep in touch.
Absolutely.
The thing is, there is no thing. It's just that I just want to see how we can start slowly changing this world around us, is what I'm trying to get at. That's what I'm trying to say, is that maybe, like after the Zoom, I could probably give you like my contact information or something. We can keep in touch, see what's going on. You're a very interesting person. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I'm not really looking for a deep relationship.
Yeah, me neither. That you never
yeah,
know,
I'm
and you gotta let nature take its course, because soulmates is not only just because you're together as a girlfriend boyfriend.
Like where your stance is at now. I just don't believe in soulmates and all that will work for me anymore. You know what I mean? It's very traumatic. Yeah, exactly. We're on the same, we're on the same page. We're just on our own different paths, in life.
Absolutely.
Like I said, because right now I'm where I am at now. I totally agree with you. It's just something that's just gonna haunt you for the rest of your life if you let it.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's just that's crazy. It really is really funny how when you discover something, it just alters the definition of something else. What I'm trying to get at is now, when you're looking what are you looking for in a relationship? Are you looking for love, or are you actually looking for intimacy and romance? I mean, there's things that people have to be specific about. Nowadays, you talk to someone and ask, what do you want out of our relationship? Because they love, like they don't even know what it means. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to ask you is it love to you over the years? What has it become?
I can only say that on one aspect, because again, like my best friend that I think the first person I ever loved, I think I know what it is. That's why I say that I'm not looking for love, because my love for me is how I love myself and how my family loves me. If a man, I'm not ever saying that people whoever I've been with didn't love me. What I see that's missing again is compassion, transparency, and loyalty. And I don't mean loyalty where a person's sitting here saying, oh man, I want some man who's not going to cheat on me. We're in 2021. Okay. We're over here trying to figure out, we're almost getting to the part where we understand what dark matter is. Who's really thinking about what another person is doing on the opposite end? Listen, when I mean loyalty, I mean you got my back and I got yours, regardless of the circumstances. I'm not going to sell you out. You're not going to sell me out. We got each other's back. And regardless of what you got going on, you know what the response
is. That's the key right there. Getting each other's back is the key.
That's it. It has nothing to do with, because a lot of times people try to base their relationship on infidelity. Listen, infidelity is going to always be there for as long as there's things in this world that we don't understand. So we can't say stuff like that. That's supposed to be, people think that's automatic. We're in a new era. Before, back in the days, people weren't having kids without getting married. They used to call us having babies out of wedlock. We're in a new, like the Bible times don't work for us today. It don't work. But back in the Bible times too, they didn't just have one wife. So so you can't just pick and choose what you want to take out because it works for you. No, men didn't have it that way. They had more than one wife.
Yeah, that's true.
Your system didn't work, then they get the other system. If everybody's system works, everybody's system works. Just like murder, it's in the Bible. So are we going to say today that that's not what should happen? Because it was happening. It was happening way before. It was there. Y'all crucified. Yeah, if y'all believe your Bible, whoever crucified Jesus, murder was there. So why you don't say it that way? And if you and this is another thing that I say to people. If you say that Jesus died on the cross and then he rose after that, okay, that's fine. But you're telling me you don't believe in resurrections, you don't believe in spirits, you don't believe. How could you believe in something you ain't never seen? Okay, you've never seen Jesus, but you believe in it. So how could you have that mindset to be so narrow-minded? You got to be open. And that's all I just want. That's what I mean by transparency. I mean, you can't change nobody. All you want to do is accept that person for who that person is and learn from what that person has. It's really interesting. A relationship sparks from learning from each other. It has nothing to do with control. I don't like controlling people. I don't do that. If I want to control something, I'll go get a dog, but I don't like pets. Not that I don't like them. It's just because there's too many responsibilities, you know.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, yeah.
gotta feed the kid,
I
gotta feed
definitely
the
feel.
dog too.
I
Like, oh
definitely
my God.
know what you're saying. Yeah.
No, no, no. So no, you control. You're supposed to, you know, you really want to control something, control your own life and control the. I mean, everybody wants control, but if you really think about it, people's lives aren't even under their own control. So how you can control somebody else if you ain't powerful of your own self? So I don't believe in that control. It's just transparency and just, you know, you got my back, I got yours. Like when something's coming out of my mouth and I'm telling you this, you can say, anybody can say anything to you, but I always want to make sure that that person say, you know what, it doesn't matter when everybody else says, because I know what this person is telling me is the right thing, and I just trust that. That's just what it is. That's all it is. I don't like drama. I don't like drama. Drama gives you gray hairs and gives you no sleep.
That's fun.
That's why I don't watch those shows. The only drama I watch is my Korean shows. That's the only type of dramas I like. But that's all TV. But I don't live that way in real life. I just don't live.
That's fun. Going along with what you told me and how it kind of, I'm gonna pull that a little back a bit and say, remember when I told you about that example of that average stereotypical Christian going to church and seeing that statue of Jesus? I mean, that just summarized everything you just said. That this is okay. So there's a thing when there's a problem, or let's say you meet someone who is your adversary, right? To defeat this adversary, so to speak, or you have a choice right there. Once you meet this person, you either lose to this adversary or you defeat the adversary, or you come to a mutual agreement, which is something that people don't really, you know, see as another choice. What I'm getting at is that in order to, let's say, beat this adversary, you're going to have to understand how this adversary thinks. You're going to understand what goes around this adversary's world, what makes this person think. I mean, okay, so back to what I'm saying. I was gonna say, forget what I was gonna say. What I'm gonna say now is, what I'm gonna say now is that same mindset is what I'm applying to these people who are delusional. Because right now, these people who are delusional are what I'm seeing as my greatest adversary of all time. You know, and what I've discovered from looking into these people and figuring out their world is that they're spoiled deep down inside. They're just rotten, spoiled little babies who most often than not, okay. Now I'm not saying this happens to everybody, because I know I've met some people who have grown up in a single family unit, household, and they turn out to be quite outstanding people. But for the majority, they are like these delusional kids. And they're like this because they grow up without a daddy and they have a mommy spoiling them all their lives. You see what I'm saying? And daddy's not there to put the daddy structure into these kids' heads. So what comes out is a child that grows up to be an adult who's not quite understanding of things of things like boundaries, boundaries, limits, limitations, respecting other people's boundaries and
Yes.
stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yes. It's not just that, it's also like, the more I look into these people, the more I kind of feel sorry for them. Mm-hmm. Because their whole life, the truth has been something horrible, haunting. Just the truth is just so painful for these people. These people who are so delusionally set like this, everywhere they go, the truth just reminds them is a nightmare, to these people. And so they soak up and they partake in a fictional world, in a fictional sense of how to live a rigid, structured life. Something
Yeah.
something that I noticed among a lot of people who are these delusional folks is that there is some sympathy for them. Now, at the end of the day, do I care if I hurt their feelings? Absolutely not.
I know, because you don't get whatever
Because
those
I hurt
abbreviations.
their feelings by telling them the
IDGAF,
truth.
IDGAF.
Yeah, exactly. IDGAF. Like, that's, at the end of the day, I really don't care how you feel, because I told you what is the actual self-evident truth in every sense of the word that I'm delivering this message to this person. You see? But will they accept it? I don't care. Eventually I got to the point where I kind of enjoy this feeling of telling someone the actual truth and making them feel miserable about it. This is me. I've grown from being a very sweet apple to a very sour, kind of like apple with all these little worms and things crawling in it. I don't care. Like a rotten apple is what I've grown into. But I'm still kind of sweet. You can get rid of the bugs, and you can make me into a nice little apple pie if you want. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I am. Like, but yeah, I have to go soon, because in about 10 minutes, my mom is gonna have to use this phone to sign out. By the way, a little something about me. My whole life I've been spoiled by the government.
By the who?
The government, the federal government. I've been through CIU psycho ward unit. I've been through a CIU psycho ward unit. I'm pretty sure that puts me or qualifies me as a file to be searched for in the CIA database or something. I don't even know why I'm telling you this. I'm just saying this because it's just funny how my life is where it is now, and I get everything here for free. This is my apartment, by the way. This is the lobby. This is the gym. See the gym?
Oh man, you got a free gym. Oh.
Yeah, I got a gym. I got this little meeting area here. Okay, let me give you a little tour about around where I live. This is the basement of my apartment complex. Yeah, I can stay for free. Oh, that's great. I can't say it out loud because it'll make the other neighbors jealous,
Yeah. I was gonna tell you earlier, you just described narcissist behaviors in people.
Yeah. Okay, this is crazy. This is crazy, but you're gonna have to, Let me introduce you to my my whole living area.
How long you lived there?
This is my 3rd year.
3rd year, okay.
Mm-hmm.
What floor you live on?
I live on the 2nd, actually.
I was gonna say, don't say 13.
Oh no.
Is there a 13 number?
Actually, funny thing, 13 is my lucky number.
Really?
Yes, it is. Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Best days. I always had the best days on Friday the 13th, not gonna lie.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Maybe. Hold on. So this is my mom. Say hi, Mom.
Hi. Hi.
So how much does the government pay you, Mom, for this job?
Not much.
Okay, so this is my apartment.
Spot like that.
So this is my apartment. This is my pet right here.
I told you had a rabbit.
Yeah. That's my rabbit. That's her litter box. See her
And
litter
it's
box?
a black rabbit too.
Yeah, she got red eyes too. They turn red when she's in a good mood.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. You know what they say about rabbits, huh?
What do they say?
That's a witch's best friend, huh?
That's funny.
And the eyes turn red. Oh man, you got to be kidding me, man. That's too awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have this blessed life.
That's why you lucked up, huh? With that black rabbit.
Seriously, like this is crazy. The only thing that really I pay out of my pocket is for my internet service. That's it. Oh, and also my electric bill. That's it.
Dang, that internet must be good. If you were in the basement, it was still moving. If I go to my basement right now, my phone probably cut off. I think I spoke too soon.
Something I did when I was growing up. I was a little samurai, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't
So
say
yeah.
that. That's awesome.
Oh, you didn't see my Kendo mask? Here.
No, the screen froze. When I said something about your internet, I said, "Oh, you must have some good internet," and then it froze. Oh, isn't that like a fencing outfit?
Yeah, it's my little samurai fencing thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. What's your nationality?
I am actually Korean and part Hawaiian.
You're Korean? Cool.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. My life is a little different from the average person, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. See, me too.
That's what's up. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Was you born out there?
No, I was actually born here in the States.
I was born in Seoul.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm assuming then your parents were military.
My mother's Korean, my father's Black. My dad was in the military.
That's what's up. You know, because I was diagnosed when I was 16, the Marines rejected me twice, and the Army just never sent me any sort of response growing up.
Wow.
The Marines, they rejected me first over actually by telephone. We were talking. I was talking to the recruiter, and then he's like, "I'm sorry, we at this moment, we're just not looking for soldiers like you." That's what he's pretty much saying. And then they rejected me again over email a few years later down the road when I was probably around 30, 31, 32. And all they said was, you just don't qualify. Army never responded. Never, you know. They just, so I just assume, you know, they don't care. But yeah, now that I think about it, I don't think I really need those benefits, you know.
But you know what? It's sometimes they want the person that they can put their actual psychological chip into their brain. That's why a lot of them, like what they do to veterans this day and age, like I don't understand why they even have a veterans community. If they fought in any kind of war, we should know about it. And they should be living lavishly like the basketball players. But I don't see why they get treated like they didn't fight for this country or anybody's country for whatever reason. But they don't. They just, government uses people, because at the same time, where do you end up afterwards when you're no good to them? That's just exactly what they do. So at least you got the good end of it. You're benefiting a different way, which is a good way, like you said.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they're. I don't. I tell my kids the military is really brainwashing. It's. Whew.
Well, yeah. You know, it's not just the military; it's just everything in this country and in this world is just starting to turn out for the bad, for the worse. You know.
Yeah.
As much as we like to add more solutions to the problem, because of how we structure our own lawmaking system in this country, the big picture is we just solve problems by making more things complicated. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just, and this, and then what I'm saying is that kind of leads to why more people are being delusional, you know?
Yep. True.
There's a simple saying, just keep it simple, stupid. People don't believe in that, you know? People don't believe in just keeping things stupid, you know?
Right.
Keep not stupid, but simple, sorry.
I know what you were saying. That's why I laugh. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Do you hear what I
Yeah.
said? You must have heard I mumble. I'm like, okay. You mean simple.
I have a little
Just being a little
dyslexia.
sarcastic.
It's a little dyslexia, actually. I kind of mixed up stupid and simple, and then that stupid. It's just like me looking at a map. If someone says go west, I'm gonna go left. I mean, go right.
West, I'm just gonna feel like which one?
I actually got to correct that time. Holy shit.
Your
That's
west
crazy.
or my west? I feel you. So yeah, I know you gotta get. So
yeah, Rachel, it's nice talking to you. I will, I guess, send you a message.
okay.
Or I'll get, you know, I'll exchange my contact information there,
Okay.
and we can see where it goes from there, you know.
Okay.
I mean,
Nice
I like this vibe we got for the intellectual, you know. It's pretty cool. I think it's very stimulating. It's very stimulating. But yeah, my mom's got to sign out using my phone. That's how it works. So they know that she was
I do the same thing
here
with my daughter.
working. That's cool. Cool.
Yeah, I gotta do the same thing for my daughter to let them know that she's not in my hands anymore. She's on her own.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
I know how it is. So yeah, I guess the host will let us know. So, but nice meeting you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was great talking to you. I enjoyed this blind date. It was fun.
Yeah.
Got to know a lot about you. Got to know about me a little. Yeah, let's, I mean, this is just weird because this is being recorded, you know.
I know, and there's a lot of things you can't say, but it's cool.
There's a lot of things I just cannot just blatantly just
but
put
you
out.
did.
And
you did it. You didn't step out.
I did say quite a bit, but there's always more, you know, to the story. That's just how it goes, you know.
Okay.
There's a lot of things I really wanted to just just when you were saying stuff, there were a lot of times where I just wanted to interrupt you and then totally say something and then I come and I gotta stop myself because I'm like, oh wow,
we're being recorded.
You know? So
yeah.
Peace. Have a nice day.
Okay,
Rachel,
you too.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.